on BBC Radio 2.
Hello, I'm Vernon Kay with a new edition of Tracks of My Years, and joining me is an American actor, singer and songwriter. And if you're a parent, she is either a saint or a sinner, as taking us on her musical 10-song journey all the way to the frozen land of Arendelle via that earworm of a song, Let It Go, is Idina Menzel. And, as well as her song choices, we'll learn about her stellar career beginning as a wedding and bar mitzvah singer before making her Broadway debut in the Tony Award-winning musical Rent, and then originating the defying gravity role of Elphaba in Wicked and reprising that role here in the UK in 2006. She's recently made it onto the BBC Radio 2 playlist with her single Move, and her album Drama Queen is out on August the 18th. And last month starred alongside Adam Lambert in Trafalgar Square for London Pride. So it's my pleasure to welcome Idina to the show for her first choice, Joe Cocker, and You Are So Beautiful. Let's hear it and then we'll find out why she's chosen it. That is a great song from a great vocalist, Joe Cocker. Why did you pick that?
My father always sang to me when I was little, You Are So Beautiful. It ended up being my father-daughter dance at my wedding. People always say, where'd you get your voice, Idina? And I say, I think I got it from my father, but he's untrained. So it's like, I can hear that he has a voice in there. But recently, I've been trying to give him voice lessons. So one time we were walking in New York City, and I said, Dad, let's return to You Are So Beautiful. And it was late in New York City. Nobody was around. I said, come on. So then I said, you have to use your diaphragm. He was trying to do it, but he wasn't as good as I thought he was going to be.
Did you tell him, though?
I told...
Is your relationship strong enough to explain to your father that
it is extremely strong. My father grew up in the Bronx. And he has a really strong accent. So he's like so proud of his daughter.
Oh, yeah. Now you say it like that. You see,
Yeah.
us Brits, we know stereotype.
It's pretty stereotyped.
Yeah, with that accent. I was on a bachelor party. We went to the New York Yankees once. And I actually almost got run over by a yellow cab, a taxi. And I've always wanted to do it. And it gave me the perfect excuse to slam on what you guys, we call it the bonnet. I don't know what you call the front of a car.
The front,
hood.
The front of the car.
Yeah.
The hood.
And I was like, hey, I'm walking here. And I'm like,
great.
I've done it. That's all I need. The bachelor party is over. I'm getting on a flight home. Thank you very much.
Oh, my gosh.
It was
I was
amazing.
walking with you, I would have been so proud of you.
Thank you. But it's nice, that relationship. I'm the father of two daughters.
Oh, you are? How old are they?
Yeah, 18 and 14.
Okay, so they probably love me.
Yeah. Oh my gosh.
You hate me, but they
No.
You're
You're the well. Okay, we'll go there. It's early in the week. All right, we'll go there.
It's early in the
I didn't
week.
want to go there on a Monday.
Okay.
I was saving this chat for like Thursday, Friday.
Okay, we can hold off.
It's the ultimate earworm, that song.
Yes, I know,
Okay,
and it's
so
a gift and a curse.
It really is. So let's move on.
Okay, we're going to pick it up when? On Friday when we warm people up to me and then they like me again?
But, on behalf of parents, I'll say thank you.
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, because you probably could sit your kids down at a television and, then they're sort of focused on that and you could get things done for the day.
Exactly.
So,
All right, let's not.
Okay,
let's stop.
sorry.
Let's stop.
I digress.
Let's stop. But thank you. We don't. It's not about that. It's
Okay,
about you.
thank you.
And your tracks of my years. The next track you've chosen is from the mighty, the great Barbra Streisand.
Yes.
Everything from A Star Is Born. We all know about Babs. Why is she important to you, and in particular that track?
A Star Is Born, the soundtrack to the movie, was the very first album that I owned. I literally recall holding an album, a vinyl album, and looking through the beautiful art. And I'm glad they're coming back a little bit more, though, aren't
me too.
you? And I would just listen to her in my bedroom and knowing that if I could be a successful singer, that I wanted to embody what she had, which felt like she had this huge range, but it sounded effortless. It didn't sound overly trained. It sounded like it came from her soul when she sang. And she could hold these notes for days. And so she was just one of the singers that I emulated. And hopefully some of it has sort of come through osmosis.
Have you met her?
To me. Okay, so So I have met her twice. I sang at one of these events in Washington, D.C. called the Kennedy Center Honors. And it's where the president is there up in the mezzanine, and they honor the greats in each performing arts category. And she was being honored. So I was asked to sing Don't Rain on My Parade that night. Beyonce was asked to sing The Way We Were right after me. And so, and this is after I won the Tony for Wicked. So I was feeling good about myself, but I still, you know, to see Beyonce backstage, I was very intimidated. Anyway, after the show, I went to the party, and we're sitting at these big round tables, and I was seated at her table. She was seated next to her best friend, Donna Karen, and her manager.
The fashion designer.
Yes.
Yeah.
And bunch of other fancy people. Or her husband was there, who was very friendly to me. And she was sitting there with her fan and her hand fan.
So Barbra Streisand.
And I was sitting there with my ex-husband, Tay, and she finally looked over to me. She had her reading glasses on her, and she took them down on her nose a little bit, and she said, "Did you sing Don't Rain on My Parade for me tonight?" And I said, "Yes, Miss Streisand, I did." And she said, "You were good." And then she got up and she walked away. So for years, I said, "Okay, was that good?
Is that a compliment, or is that?
Or was she?
Does she elevate to great?
Yes.
Or excellent?
Like, yes. Or did she not like me? For years, I thought this, and people would say, "Oh, no, that's if you got her to speak to you at all, that was a good thing." So for years, I thought. Then actually, well, we can get to if Aretha's on my list. No, she's not. She's not on my list, Aretha, because then she came over. My ex-husband is a very well-known celebrity. She walked by, and he knew that I was a fan of Aretha Franklin. So he said, "Miss Franklin, my wife sang tonight. She's a huge fan of yours." And because he's so hot, she was into, she stopped for him. And then she looked at me and she said, "Why didn't you tell me your wife was a singer?" And it was just like, what is going on? Can anybody see my two idols, and I'm not feeling the love? And then finally, years later, I sang at a Democratic fundraiser in the backyard of some big Hollywood producer, and she was there, and Speaker Nancy Pelosi was there, who I've become very friendly with because I've sung at a lot of events for her, and she's super cool to me. And she said, "Have you ever met Miss Streisand?" And I said, "Well, it wasn't the greatest." And so she said, "I'll take you over there." And then Barbara was so nice to me. She asked me what kind of mics I use and if I use the ear monitors, and we were just having such a.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So things come around, and I feel better about that now.
Oh, that's amazing. I mean, you've just mentioned two of the biggest global icons, Aretha Franklin and Barbra Streisand, in one story. And It's only Monday.
It's only Monday.
I'm like, wow, okay.
I want to learn what life is for. Let it show.
Diana Ross was the very first concert that I saw in kind of a smaller, intimate theater out on Long Island, New York, where I grew up, called the Westbury Music Fair. I saw her and was riveted by her. I was most riveted by how many costume changes she could do in
See, I always feel as a ticket buyer that costume changes are like, well, I paid for you to sing.
Just sing. Why are you taking so much time?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's been a hard transition for me. So last month I was here and I sang at Pride, and I didn't do a costume change. I just wore a fabulous sequin jumpsuit.
That's all you need at Pride.
And usually when I do my concerts, wherever, I usually stay in the same outfit. I may have like a layer that I take off that I reveal. But that's it, because yes, and some people do an intermission. I don't do that either. That feels very theater to me, and when I'm doing my concerts, I want to be a rock singer,
Yeah, and also it's all about energy, isn't it? Because you've built the set list, where the energy is going to take us as an audience.
Yes.
And I think when it stops and starts, it's kind of, okay, it's like having a kettle and the water's boiling.
Yes.
And then all of a sudden you turn it off and it
Although,
goes back to...
being a Broadway performer or West End performer, I did do Wicked here many years ago. I stayed here for 6 months of my life, and it was one of the best times in my life, I will say. Quick changes are something that we take a lot of pride in.
Yeah.
And I've been known to change my clothes with the help of a dresser, maybe two, in about 9 seconds.
Wow.
Yes. There's quite the choreography that goes into a very good quick change.
It's like a tyre change in Formula One.
Exactly.
Do you rehearse that?
Exactly like that.
Yeah.
Yes, but what I've been told is, Idina, just stand like a mannequin and don't move. When you move, you make it harder for us. Let us dress you. So I just sort of stand there, and it's a very hard thing to do because you want to help and you feel the adrenaline of, I got to get back on stage.
Yeah.
But it's a whole thing. They put the shoes down in front of you. You figure out what you're going to do first. Shirt, sometimes it's a wig. If you came to see my concert and I decided to change costumes, I don't think I would let the momentum subside because I would get this quick change down pretty quickly.
Nice. And Diana Ross, have you met Diana Ross? Another
I've
name?
never met Diana
come
Ross.
on.
Could you imagine if I told you I met Diana Ross and she said, you were good.
Yeah. It's like, wow, you're taking punches from all the icons.
Yes. Yeah, don't they always say you never want to meet your idols?
They do, yeah.
But I also picked the song because Nile Rodgers was and is my mentor on my new album, Drama Queen, that's coming out. It's a dance/disco inspired album, and I went to Nile Rodgers, who wrote I'm Coming Out for Diana Ross and many other songs. Yes.
I'm smiling because I've read Niall's book.
Yes.
And he's been on quite the personal journey.
Yes, he has.
But his ability to take an artist and generally flip the coin and change their direction.
Yes.
But yet keeping the integrity and the honesty of the artists themselves.
Like David Bowie. He loves that story.
And Diana Ross.
Yes.
And giving them something else. But we listen to those tunes that he did with those people and we kind of go, oh yeah, that's David Bowie. Oh yeah, that's Diana Ross. But it's such a different transition for those artists. But yeah, it's unrecognisable. I don't know what I'm trying to say. It's kind of, am I making sense?
Well, yes, because
Good.
I think he believes, and this is why I went to him and asked him, first of all, do you think someone like me could make an organic transition to this music? I said, I feel like most of the singers, Diana Ross being one of them, Barbra Streisand, Cher came back to dance, and then Donna Summer and all these incredible singers with big voices, melodic voices, they have sung this kind of music, and then they've sort of had this foundation of the groove underneath. And I said, don't you think that I could do this? And he said, 100%. And then he got in and started telling me the stories about Diana Ross. So I felt like I got his blessing on that. And then we wrote a song on the album together, which I love, called Paradise.
All right, so let's move swiftly on to the next track. And also, there's a Nile Rodgers link, because Nile Rodgers and Duran Duran, Nile Rodgers was on the Reflex.
That's right. I totally forgot about that.
Yeah.
Good transition. It's a
Lovely.
good segue.
Yeah, why have you chosen the Reflex? Flex, 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 flex.
I went to summer camp for 7 weeks. It's sort of a typical cultural thing for a bunch of people on the East Coast of the United States.
Where was your camp?
Upstate New York.
Upstate New
in
York,
the
right.
mountains.
Yeah.
And we would put on these silly talent show things. And one of my first, not singing solos, we did a dance. And I had a moment, a highlight, and it was to the Reflex, flex, 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 flex. And so it's just sort of cemented in my mind and my childhood with those friends and summer, and also the building blocks of me being a performer.
But also the innocence of life.
Yes.
I guess we don't have summer camp over here, but we do have prolonged summer holidays. And sometimes we're a little bit envious that on those summer camps, you can go and bond with kids your same age group,
Yes.
And you can do things away from your parents. So you it's a step up in maturity, I guess, at such a young age.
Yes.
That you can be, I guess, relatively independent. Yeah.
Right. I had my first kiss there, and I shaved my legs for the first time there. I remember it was visiting day, so your parents do come up, and my mom hadn't let me shave my legs. I forget, I felt like I was a year behind, and everyone had smooth legs and I had hairy legs. So I said, Mom, when you come up, bring the shaving cream, teach me how to shave my legs.
Wow.
So we spent that day, yeah. So that's probably then when I had my first kiss and I was feeling more confident about, my looks. Anyway, Duran Duran, all of that put together, very nostalgic, good times.
Yeah, very good. And Simon Le Bon is probably the most entertaining frontman off stage that you could wish to spend.
Really?
Oh my goodness me! If you've not been Le Bond, you haven't lived.
Wow.
Reminding her of summer camp days, that was Duran Duran and the Reflex, produced by Nile Rodgers. Also taking Idina back to her school days is the film The Breakfast Club, and she's chosen the main song by Simple Minds, Don't You Forget About Me.
It's another nostalgic song for me. It makes me really think about my teenage years. I love the movie that it came from, The Breakfast Club. I went through a very awkward phase. I had like a haircut like Molly Ringwald, but it was asymmetrical, sort of shaven on one side, and then I used to try to dance like her in that movie. So Judd Nelson in the last scene comes out of the high school. He just starts walking. He's a changed man, and they hit that song, and there's just something about the freedom that he had and the friends that he made, but he sort of remained true to himself. That song is one of those perfect songs that ends a movie.
Yeah, and a great band, an iconic band.
Yes.
I mean, so many hits from Simple Minds.
Exactly.
Do you keep in touch with anyone from school days?
The beautiful thing about being an actor or a performer is that people call you and say, I would love to come backstage and see you. So I've been reunited with a lot of people.
Oh, lovely.
I have a couple friends that I keep in touch with, but it's my university friends that I actually still have. Yeah.
Good times.
Good times.
Yeah. The next track is Lolita Adams, Get Here.
Yes.
This is a big tune. Why have you chosen this?
Okay, so we've talked a little bit this week about that I was what we call in the States a club date singer, which means you sing with a band at weddings, bar mitzvahs, anniversaries. I actually started doing this at a really young age. I started when I was 15 years old. My parents got divorced, and my mom started...
How old were you when they got divorced?
14. And my mom started dating this man who was actually really great. And he encouraged me to start writing music as well as just taking my voice lessons. And then he said he knew somebody that ran one of these bands and I should go and audition for him. So I only knew like 3 songs. I knew What a Feeling from Flashdance. I knew Evergreen, Barbra Streisand, and I knew Walking on Sunshine. Well, it's not that I only knew 3 songs, but I had those 3 tracks, like a kind of like a karaoke track, and then I could go record my voice on top of that and hand that in, submit that. And I also lied about my age. I said I was 18 because I thought that sounded more professional and they would have hired me. But I was also driving around illegally because at 15, you're not supposed to be driving. 15, 16, you can have your junior license, but you're not supposed to drive around after 9 p.m. at night. And I would drive all around what we call the tri-state area, which is Long Island, New York, Connecticut, and New Jersey. I'd drive everywhere, show up at these gigs. Here I am, the 15, 16-year-old girl. I had to build my repertoire because you only are going to get hired by all these bands if you can sing all genres of music. So I had to learn the pop music of the time. I had to learn all the old jazz tunes like Billie Holiday and Sarah Vaughan and all the stuff Frank Sinatra would sing and Ella Fitzgerald, which was real education for me and how I built my identity as a vocalist. I had to learn Motown. That's when I listened to a lot of Aretha Franklin and Chaka Khan, the rock music, everything. And so I really feel like that's where I came of age, where I discovered who I was as a singer. Also, you have to have a thick skin, because people aren't really listening to you at these things. They're talking. But what's good about that is you have the freedom to explore. The time that I love so much is when they take a break, the band, but they say, can the keyboard player and Idina, can you stay on stage during salad, and can't have this sort of in-between music, you know? And I loved it so much because especially if there's a lot of great musicians at those gigs. And just trying to make extra money, you know. And I would love when a piano player or just a guitar player would accompany me on a song. I'd listen to all of their chord progressions and the way that they'd arrange their songs, and it taught me to really listen and hear scales. Or I would learn in the car ride over to the gig, you know, a Billie Holiday song, and we would do Our Love Is Here to Stay by Billie Holiday, and I would try to sing it like her, knowing that I would never sound like her, but just to learn phrasing and scatting and things like that. A lot of kids ask me for advice, you know, about performing, and I say to emulate, not to imitate, because you should sort of be like a sponge and take in all of these influences, right, and inspirations, and listen to what people do, and then just let it go and know that, you know, it's going to come out of you. You're not like anybody else, so it won't be like you're imitating. It will come out of you in your special way, and you will find your true voice that way instead of trying to imitate somebody's sound, you know. Did that make sense?
It did, Idina, but you just said let it go. So you
I knew you couldn't let it pass.
Yeah,
I
ruined
knew you
it.
couldn't let it. Isn't
Yeah.
it a shame, though, that
It
I
is.
can't say such
Yeah.
a simple phrase
I
without
know.
people saying that?
I'm sat on the sofa with my 2 daughters. I'm dressed as a prince. The girls are in their costumes, and it's a lovely story, but you've put me there.
Or why weren't you Olaf, the snowman?
Well, I do have an
You like to be
inflatable Olaf
sexy.
costume. I'll be honest with you. I've done everything, and I still
Okay.
to this day I do. But let's save that conversation.
Okay.
Let's tease that for Friday.
Okay.
We'll get into that on Friday.
Okay.
But Alita Adams, is that one of the tunes?
Yes. So Get Here by
Hmm.
Alita Adams, actually written by a woman named Brenda Russell, who wrote some incredible music. But Alita Adams, who was the woman that sang with Tears for Fears all the time, you know, the woman that's kind of like, they kind of gave a start to. She sings a song called Get Here. It's that song, you can reach me by railway, you can reach me by trailway. I don't care how you get here, just get here if you can. And I just loved that song so much. So that was one of the songs that I would do during salad. It's like my go-to song. It's my song that I sing in the shower sometimes when I'm just warming up and I just
nice.
want to sing something, yeah.
You can reach me by railway.
The beautiful Get Here, a big hit both sides of the Atlantic for Alita Adams. I'm Vernon Kay, and you're listening to Tracks of My Years with Idina Menzel, who has chosen the wonderful Whitney Houston and her debut hit, Saving All My Love, as her next pick. That's a freight train of an artist with a freight train of a track. That is just so powerful and so moving. And Whitney Houston, another one that we can put on the list. Some real powerful female artists who it seems that you admire and hold in very high regard.
I love Whitney Houston. I think she's one of our all-time greatest singers. Once again, effortless, but with so much soul, obviously, but just like a tear in her voice, you know. The reason I picked Saving All My Love for You is, well, first of all, you know, I talked about yesterday about the club dates that I did. That was one of the songs
During
that
salad.
I would do. No, actually, not during salad.
Oh, really?
The first dance.
Oh,
but
wow.
tell me why you would pick Saving All My Love for You as a first dance when the lyrics are this. You've got your family and they need you there. So it's all about infidelity. It's about a man that's, you know, she's the other woman.
Right.
And people wouldn't listen to the lyrics and just have Saving All My Love for You as their first dance.
Because of the
wedding.
chorus, I imagine.
Yeah. But come on. I mean, listen to the words. But my other connection to this song is we have this cruise ship called Spirit of New York.
Right.
There's a couple of them. It's kind of a chain cruise ship. It's one of those that you just go on for like 4 hours. So this is one of those jobs that I would have to make money when I was, you know, pounding the pavement, struggling. I was a host of a nice restaurant. I did the cruise ship. I was trying to audition, and then I'd sing at all the parties. But this cruise ship was the type of thing where I had never waited tables before. I wasn't a good waitress. But this ship was cool because the waiters and waitresses were singing waiters and waitresses. And we wore these vests, this uniform. Was, you know, they were regular black and white kind of vests, but reversible. It was red satin.
On the
which
inside?
meant- yes. And what that meant was when you got the call, it meant switch the vest. It's now going to be showtime. And it was also the kind of thing where they bring everyone on, you know, because it's a cruise ship, everyone on at the same time. It's like a party ship, right? And so not only could I not wait tables, everyone orders at one time, and you're given this huge area. I'd be horrible, so I'd serve all the drinks, and then I'd, you know, take the orders, and then they'd call me, and now coming up is one of your waitresses, Idina Menzel, and I just drop the whole tray on the table and say, fend for yourselves. And then I'd run to the stage. One of my songs was Saving All My Love for You. And I got up and sang. I just killed with the money. They just tipped me, and I raked it in. So I loved that job. And that was one of my songs, my go-to songs.
I just have this vision of Idina, song time, and then just quickly reversing the waistcoat. Oh, crikey. I mean, we've gone from Whitney to Annie Lennox.
Yes.
Another. I mean, Annie's voice is so special and so unique, you know. And not only that, but I think when you see Annie visually, she is a special artist, in my opinion.
Yes,
you know,
she is.
like she's absolutely magnificent.
I did have a lunch with Annie Lennox.
Did she say you were better than good?
Yes.
Okay, good.
She said some nice things, but she was just real. And we were both recording with Glenn Balvert, a producer, and she came in to say hi, and we all had lunch together. I could barely carry a conversation. I was just so starstruck by her. I used to listen to that album in college with my best girlfriends. We just played that album out. And I think what I gravitated to her so much was because she was a soulful singer. She was looked at as a rock star, but she was super dramatic and theatrical. You know, because I was known from the theater first, because my very first professional job was in Rent, in this Broadway show Rent, which didn't do as well over here, by the way. So
I saw it twice in London.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, thank you.
Yeah.
What was that you just sang?
I can't remember the song. You know the song, don't you?
Oh, 500.
That's it, yeah.
Oh, that's what you're saying. Right, that was good.
Thank you.
Barely recognizable.
That's why you're on the stage and I'm not.
So this is going to be my little chip on my shoulder moment here. I'm sorry, everybody. My first show was in Rent, and first professional show. And it actually was, you know, a rock musical, which now, as the teenager and the young singer, listening to all this kind of music that we've talked about this whole week, I decided that I wanted to be a recording artist. I didn't necessarily want to be on Broadway anymore. That was something when I was a little girl I thought about. So I ended up getting a record deal because of all of that. And then they would send me to producers, pop producers and songwriters. And a lot of times they were resistant to work with me because there's something about theater people where we were put in a box. It's gotten better these days since Hamilton and Glee. But back then, people just thought we were all going to sing like this all the time, you know, and that wasn't me. I had, like I've been telling you, I had all these influences, and it was frustrating, you know. And then on the theater side, it felt like I never really got great reviews because they sort of write me off as being this untrained girl with the rock voice, which wasn't true. I'd been trained ever since I was young and took voice lessons and went to NYU for theater and musical theater. And so the Annie Lennox part to this is that I feel like she always gave me permission, you know. She's theatrical. I mean, look at all her videos. She's
Very
just
artistic.
like a diva, literally. And I felt like always saying, look at Annie Lennox, you know. She's got this amazing voice, but she's not afraid to be dramatic, you know. And which is why one of the little reasons I call my new album Drama Queen, you know, because I am a drama queen. Just like I think Annie Lennox is. It's like I want to reclaim the word. It's someone that has these huge, big emotions and is fiery and passionate and vulnerable and sensitive and all those things which make us artists and creative people, and that's how we connect with our audiences, I think. I feel like she's the one that I always say, well, look at Annie Lennox, you know, she can do that, but it's been harder for me to cross over other than Let It Go, which is not the most pop-sounding song because it has lyrics that say frozen fractals in it. When have you heard a song with lyrics frozen fractals on pop radio? But there it was. So That's my, chip on the shoulder moment. I won't have any more of those.
All right, we'll move on. And we'll leave it there for Thursday. Why? The first single Annie Lennox released after the breakup of her band, The Eurythmics. A bit of a country tinge song by Bruno Mars next, and a song Idina enjoyed singing with her son in the car. It's Count on Me.
If you ever find yourself stuck.
This is one of those songs that I sing with my son in the car. He's moved a little bit beyond it because this was when he was younger, but this was a sing in the car, every day to school song. To be honest, there were many other songs that I couldn't choose because my most shameful parenting is that I've allowed him to listen to rap music, the cursing versions, in the car from probably an inappropriate age. But that is because he was, at an early age, he showed signs of being a very good writer and poet. And I felt that rap is poetry. And if he loves Jay-Z or Eminem and Kanye, and he loves the classic early rap. So I thought that that was okay. But for this show, I picked Bruno Mars because that was another song that we love to sing together. And I will say, I just lied to you. We don't sing together because he won't sing in front of me.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So he would sort of hum it in the back seat in his car seat. And I guess I'd say we listen to the song as more than sing it, which is, it's a dream of mine to sing a duet with my son, not professionally, not publicly, just in a car, just to learn how to harmonize. But for whatever reason, he has decided that he is not going to let me or his dad or his stepdad hear his voice. And I'm convinced from about 2 notes I've heard him in the shower that there's something very special there. And he will not share it with me, and he will not allow me to sing very much either. If I'm singing really loud in the house, or if we're going to school and I open the door to bring him to school and I have Count on Me in my head, I start humming it. It's just in my head. And he's just, Mom, you cannot embarrass me, and then, but then. So,
yeah, but let's not forget when you're driving to school and you're singing, he's getting a free concert.
He doesn't want me to sing. He wants to hear Bruno Mars. I will say on the other side of that he had a music class where the teacher said, okay, everyone, raise your hand and tell me who your favorite singer is. And she called me to tell me that he said my mother.
Oh.
So, and just recently I was doing a Pride festival in West Hollywood Pride, WeHo Pride. And he was so proud of me that he hugged me and he said, I'm very emotional, Mom. And he's 13 now. So, public displays of affection do not come along very much. He's too cool for school. But he held me, he cried on my shoulder and told me how proud he was, and he didn't care that anyone was seeing that. So,
oh, that's lovely.
Yeah, so it's both sides of the coin.
Yeah, that's awesome. Okay, so there you go. That's Bruno Mars.
Yeah.
Right, just one question that we've been serving all week. Frozen, the success of that movie, and in particular, Let It Go, was amazing. I mean, it was a global sensation, the movie, and the fact that you were Elsa and the song. Has that become, dare I say, a curse, or is it something that you're really proud of?
Oh, no. I'm super proud of it. It's one of the best things that's happened for me professionally.
You're the best babysitter in the world.
That's what I was trying to say to you earlier. Yes, I think parents probably hate me, but then they love me because they can put that movie on or the song on in the car, and then, I soothe their children somehow. I don't get tired of singing the song. People ask me that all the time. It's hard because for some stupid reason, I put it in a very demanding key. I did that because I went into the studio when we were working on Frozen, and I sang it in one key, and then I had to come in again to sing it again because they were playing with the storyline, and then they changed a bunch of lyrics. So I came in and I was feeling really in good voice, and I realized that I could sing it a half step higher, and when I did sing it higher, I sounded I sounded younger, and I thought that I sounded more innocent, so it was better for the character, because it's a reminder to me always how lucky I am, really, to have a song like this.
But I love the fact that you've now come out with a dance album, but where we're getting to see hear yourself.
I wanted to
you
sing,
as an artist.
I wanted to sing. Look, I will say, when I come here, I go and I surprise everyone at Heaven, G-A-Y. I have had my most favorite jobs. Now, no disrespect to Carnegie Hall or here, the Royal Albert Hall.
Yeah.
Those have been wonderful shows. But nothing compares to 1 a.m. at G-A-Y with it packed full. We're singing, we're crying, we're screaming, we're dancing, we're reminiscing. If I wanted to stage dive, I could. They would catch me. I mean, there are many strong gay men that could do it. Whereas in a theater, when I sing, the little girls in blue dresses are not going to catch me. You know what I mean? They're very behaved and polite, a theater audience. So I wanted to do songs and music where people would get up and move and celebrate, and I could come back to a place like here in London and bring that kind of music.
Brilliant. All right, so the last track from you is
Yes.
You Two, With or Without You.
Dream duet partner, never have sung with Bono.
Hang on. Throughout the whole week, Joe Cocker and
Only
Bono
men?
are the only two people who you haven't met, I would imagine.
No, I did meet Bono recently.
Oh, you have met him?
I met him at the Oscars. We both were nominated for Oscar songs.
Right.
What was his for? I don't remember, Bono. So sorry. But but I did meet him, and he and the whole band sent me a little card, a handwritten card and flowers saying just how lovely it was to meet me and be in the same category with me. And I have that framed in my office at home. But I've just always had such a crush on him. I love his voice, and I would just do almost anything to sing a duet with him. So I'm manifesting that now with you here on this show, and it's never too late.
Well, Bono's listening. Hi, Bono. The duet is on. Thank you very much. Idina, it's been a joy. It's been an absolute pleasure to sit opposite and listen.
I hope I didn't talk too much.
No, we love it. That's the point of Tracks in My Ears.
Okay.
Thank you so much, and good luck with the album.
I really appreciate that. Thanks, everybody.
Thank you.
See